Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, me and my CHD. So, what does CHD stand for? CHD stands for a couple of things, but it stands for congenital heart defect or congenital heart disease. Now, I was born with one of these called Tricuspid Atresia. It meant that I was born blue. I had no oxygen getting around my body at all. What does tricuspid atresia mean? Well, if you compare it to a normal heart, like this picture, you can see that there is a hole in the atrial septum, there's a blocked tricuspid valve, a small right ventricle, and a ventricular septal defect. Now, you can see quite clearly next to the normal heart that it's basically not plumbed up right. So at first they didn't know if I was going to survive or not. So I had to have a pulmonary banding at the age of 6 months. And by the age of 4 is when I first had my first open heart surgery, where I had a Fontan circulation operation. So I was fine all my life. I never let it hold me back at all. Throughout my whole childhood, I did what I wanted. Until I got to late teens, early 20s, I started having episodes of AF, which is atrial fibrillation, which is when your circuits in your heart just fire off independently, which resulted in my heart doing 250 beats a minute at one point, and I was literally just sat down watching telly. So I had to have 2 ablations, which were unsuccessful. They then decided at John Ratcliffe that it was time to have the Fontan procedure done again. So I had to go down to Southampton General for that one. And they were so good down there, and it was very scary. So the reason why they decided that I needed the Fontan procedure done again was that the tube they put in when I was 4 years old was too small for me now as an adult, and it wasn't pumping enough blood through the tube, and basically the back pressure was coming down and flooding out my liver, which obviously resulted in me having cirrhosis of the liver. I was 24 when I went to have open heart surgery again, and it was really scary. At the age of 24, you know everything that's going on. Like, compared to when I was 4, I had no idea what was going on, and I don't really have many memories of when the operation happened or after the operation. The only thing I could remember is that my mum and dad had put a welcome home Laura banner on top of the garage for when I came home from hospital, but that's literally the only thing I remember. So after I had the operation in Southampton, when I came round from the anaesthetic, I remember my mum coming in and she said to me, "How do you feel, Laura?" And I turned round to her and I said, "Mum, I feel like I've been hit by a bus." I'm not very good coming round from anaesthetic at all. I was only meant to be telling you a bit about myself, not my whole life story. But I'll carry on. So, the operation was successful, obviously, down in Southampton. And a year later, I started getting episodes of AF again, which they hoped that the major operation would have corrected it, because what they did is they scored my heart, so there was no electrical wires gone wrong then, as they called it. So a year later I ended up having episodes of AF where the electrical currents that were going wrong were actually inside my heart, not on top of my heart. So I had to have a pioneering ablation at the Brompton in London, where they basically went in through my groin and up my vein into my heart, and they had these massive 2 magnets either side of me, and the surgeon was literally the other side of the room, and she was controlling these magnets and controlling this thing that was in my heart to burn. Oh, it's amazing. And I was awake for the whole thing, which was awful because the burning sensation in my chest was horrific. But since then, I have had nothing, which is good. So I started this channel because I wanted to tell my story. There's a lot, obviously a lot more that goes on other than the brief little story I just told you. But also I want to reach out to people going through the same thing as I am, and parents as well that are going through it with their child. I want to possibly give a little bit of comfort and offer a little bit of hope, you know, that everything will be all right and they can go on to live a normal life, albeit being in hospital quite a lot, but that doesn't define someone. If you're going through a similar situation, please don't hesitate to drop me a message or follow me or subscribe to this channel if you've liked this video, and I shall see you all next time. Take care.